All right.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
You want to like red leather, like those like warm up mouth warm ups.
I do my shit before I get on,
Oh,
and I do Chewbacca says. Chewbacca says. Chewbacca says. Chewbacca says.
good, good. We take this seriously. Um, all right, you ready?
Yep. All right, let's do this.
Okay. Welcome back, terrestrials. I think it's about time that we get real and have a conversation about what happened to Kevin Smith's career. But first, we're going to review Yoga Hosers.
Right.
This 2016 horror comedy. The
Is
first
it?
well, that's what it's labeled. Okay. I
Is
didn't I
it?
didn't make the rules on this one. That's the genre it's in. Um right off the bat, I think we need to discuss how and why this movie got made. Like, what even is it? I'm all for trippy art movies, like low budget art house, like we're doing something super weird, like
Mm-hmm.
Waking Life or something like that. But I could see your like memory going, Waking Life, Waking
No, I know. Wait,
Life.
link letter.
Yeah. Um, but this movie makes no sense. But not only do I mean the story,
Right.
I mean the movie, like who wrote it, why,
Well,
how,
Kevin Smith wrote it.
who put the money into it, why did this
That's a
happen,
question.
why did this even happen?
Kevin Smith was talking to his daughter, and his daughter was like, I want to be in a movie, daddy. And he was like, okay. And he wrote a movie, and he was like, what movies do you like? And she was like, I like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And they were like, okay, I haven't seen that. Let's see what Scott Pilgrim versus the World was like. And then he was like, I think I can do a Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And then he realized in the editing room, I can't do a Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is horrible.
It's too late. We're already too far.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it.
Um,
Yeah.
so the way I thought about this movie coming about, this is my theory. This is my
This is
conspiracy.
your opinion on it.
Yeah. My opinion on how this happened was Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley,
Right.
and Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily, are
Uh-huh.
friends.
Yes.
And they play in a stupid little girly punk band.
Okay.
And not that girl punk bands can't be awesome. This one just
No.
happens to be stupid. Um, and they said, we want to put out an album and we want to showcase our talent as musicians. Dad, can you write a movie all the way around that?
Yeah.
And he was like, I think I can figure something out
Yeah.
because there's just too much. Like, yeah, you're right. It's just Scott Pilgrim versus World mixed with Clerks.
Right.
That's all this movie is.
They're in
It's
a band. Every time a main character is introduced, they have this little like computer
rundown.
thing
Yeah,
that doesn't sell. There
right.
is it's like where Scott Pilgrim did it right
Yeah, they
because
fucking nailed it.
yeah, this tries to like, okay, well, kids, what are you into these days? My phone. Okay, well, we'll make the phone a big part of fucking the story,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then Johnny Depp shows up in the fucking movie, and
Yeah.
we'll probably spend a half an hour talking about Johnny Depp because that's probably the big talking point is Johnny fucking Depp. Like, what?
It's really the only talking point. Um
Right.
Buster from Arrested Development is in it. I
For
like
like four
seeing his face.
seconds.
Yeah, I like seeing his face though. Same thing with
Mhm.
Natasha Leone. Like
Right.
I like seeing them in things. It was a small role, but when you say that those are the star, like those are top billed. Like those are the names in the movies that you might know.
Right.
You're not in for a good time. No offense, guys.
Yeah.
I know Natasha Leon watches this all the time. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I wasn't talking like bad about you, but I'm just saying we
Right.
both know it's true. I'm sorry. I don't want to get a hate text later about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's the only person in the movie that is mildly entertaining.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
I couldn't unsee it. I was just like the whole time I was like, okay, he showed up and Kevin was like, uh can you be in the movie? And Johnny was like, yeah, but let's put a lot of shit on my face.
yeah, yeah,
I don't want to be recognizable, you know?
yeah.
And
Well, he
then
did that in 21 Jump Street too.
yeah, but I knew it was Johnny Depp like instantly.
Yeah.
He didn't
Well,
like he
yeah,
took all the shit off his face, so we knew
yeah,
it was Johnny Depp. But
yeah.
like this Johnny Depp was like putting a bunch of shit on my face. And then they were gonna like Kevin called action and Johnny Depp started doing that voice, but he didn't know how to keep it. So it's like going all over the place, and no one was like, okay, that voice makes no sense. Why don't we just drop it? But it's like, oh, Johnny Depp's on set. Yeah, he's doing an amazing voice, isn't he? Yeah, it's like Jack Sparrow. Like, yeah, it's crazy, John. Yeah, Johnny Depp
I've
character.
I feel like his daughter had to beg him to be in the movie.
Please don't leave, Dad. Please,
or
please.
or Kevin was like, "Look, I got to make a shitty movie with your daughter. You better be in it."
Yeah, you better show up.
Yeah.
Or
Or
this is, oh hey, we're real friends in real life.
yeah.
Hey, dads, do you want to make a lot of money real quick? You produce some fucking script and you will star in it and will basically just collect the revenues. Like the idea of I forget the producers where you could make more money on a bomb
Yeah.
than you can make on
Yeah.
like a real big hit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking, like
Yeah. I don't
Kevin
know,
Smith
man.
is gone fucking like whoa man meta. Like fuck the movie companies. I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to take all the money from it and fuck the movie companies. This movie isn't going to make them like one dime.
The budget was 5 million. It made $38,000.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Exactly.
I bet there's
Exactly.
like three guys. Like this didn't sell in Canada. This couldn't have.
I don't. I think it was unanimous that it sucked
I think like
critically. Like nobody was like, I see some good things in here. Like
no,
nobody did any of that. Like it's
no.
all terrible. It's all everything is terrible.
And crazy enough, when we reviewed that, I laughed at a point. There
Yeah.
was no point of me laughing. There's
Yeah.
a couple of points of me going, "Oh, hey, that's a cool idea," but
Yeah.
there was no like. So let's start it off. First thing, Canadians.
Started off, bro. We're in the middle. Go ahead.
Okay, then, all right, Canadians don't talk like that.
No.
Canadians don't talk like that.
No. Yeah. They overdid the accent really, really hard.
Right. And sorry, a boot.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have sorry
Yeah.
and a boot, don't do an American sorry and then a Canadian a boot.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian sorry, which is sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Canadian a boot. But it's rarely ever used. Canadians say about.
Yeah. I mean, I there were so many things wrong with this that like, you know what? I did laugh at this movie. I laughed at pretty much every single thing Justin Long did.
Did you?
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious to me. Just like the whole concept of the pretentious yoga dude that's in a strip mall that like is saying all these dumbass fucking things
Right.
that I don't know. I feel like because that's where we are, like
Right.
geographically, we have shit like that now that I found it very funny that they were making
Right.
very clear fun of that shit.
The only thing that I found interesting in this movie, it was just an idea. Okay. At the end of the movie, we have a character that's doing bad impressions, right? Like he's been watching Netflix for 100 years or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's just does bad like impressions.
Yeah.
And my brain went, that's an idea for a movie. Like, I want to make a movie with all lookalikes and impressionist.
Or everybody's brother.
Well, yeah, that's a. I think that's an idea. Like we're Patrick Swayze's brother, and but no, I want. Yeah, the movie doesn't have Johnny Depp. It has a guy that looks like Johnny Depp in it. The movie doesn't have Whoopi Goldberg. It has a lady that
It
looks like Whoopi Goldberg.
it's got to be better than this shit show.
I get a guy that does impressions of like Jack Nicholson. Like Jack Nicholson can't act anymore
Mhm.
or doesn't want to.
Mhm.
I can make 100 Jack Nicholson movies with a guy who can do the Jack Nicholson impression.
That's very true. And and if it was successful, he becomes the new Jack Nicholson.
Right, right, yeah.
I think he absorbs Jack Nicholson's like energy. Like what was that that movie Jet Li movie where there's like a bunch of different one. There's like different universes of Jet Li's,
The
and they
one,
yeah, I think
okay,
that's it. That
maybe.
would be what I was going to say next. But
um,
the one, yeah.
but yeah, what would you say the plot of this movie would be?
That's the whole thing. There is nothing to this movie. That this is just
Right.
shit happening. This is like Seinfeld, but less funny, which is hard to do.
Right.
Like I so there's like
We
they
run
introduce
gas
a
station.
handful. Introduce like a handful of people with their
Right.
stupid little story card, and they show you the dynamic between how these girls interact with each of these people real fast. And then there's a party that they want to go to, and
Right.
then that's it.
Yeah.
The rest
And
of it is just cause and effect. It's not
oh,
part of the story.
and then dude bro senior boyfriends
Yeah.
or dudes are
Yeah.
just gonna be like, yeah, we're murderers now.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
feels like, whoa. Did Kevin Smith actually write that? Where in halfway in his movie, he has this one idea and we're moving there, and
Yeah.
then like he's sitting there reading the script and he's like, yeah, and the dude bros are gonna murder them.
It's almost like watching an anthology, but all the stories at once.
Right.
Because there's so many little movies inside of here.
Yeah.
Like there's the party story, like super bad. Like we gotta go to the party, blah blah blah. There's the killer high school boy. There's the Bratzy Nazis.
Yeah.
Like I
Just
the,
broadsheets.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like the whole like, Mean Girls dynamic of the little Johnny Depp's mom and dad, or
Yeah.
stepmom and dad, or whatever. Like
Right.
there's so many different things happening in this movie, and all of them suck.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's the review right there.
No.
There's
I
so
wrote
many things happening, and it sucks.
I wrote down in my my piece of paper. I was like, this feels like Jay and Silent Bob wrote this movie. Like that was the one thing. Like, okay, you know how they go and they fuck up that the Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie or the movie in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Right, right, right.
This is what happened when they messed that movie up. And they're like, okay, you got to make you two fuckers
Yeah,
got to make this movie, and they made this. Like,
yeah. But this is like, but hold on, Jay and Silent Bob is still a movie, and inside that movie, they messed up a movie and had to write a movie.
and
This
this is
is
like
that
triple
movie,
meta. Yeah, this is
right?
the
This is
movie
that
inside the movie.
movie inside the movie
Yeah,
that they had to write. Yeah,
Kevin
that
Smith
just
doesn't go and watch this movie. Jay and Silent Bob go
I
and
don't
watch
think he
this
saw it
movie.
while he was editing it.
No, no,
I don't
no.
think he looked at the screen one fucking time while he edited this dumb dumpster fire piece of shit.
Right.
Um, but okay, is there anything that you can say positive about the movie?
No, no.
Neither.
There's nothing
Um,
like that I found. I also wrote in my notes, which also bleeds into it. Did you get the feeling like this was almost like a Nickelodeon Disney style movie? Like, there's nothing really other than like, you know, is there were there curses in this?
there may have been one or two. I don't really remember. The only reason I wouldn't say that this felt Disney-ish is because they very clearly exploited their daughters sexually in this movie. Like every camera angle had like Harley's boobs pushed up, wearing super tight pants, and the camera angles are pointed right at her butt. Same thing with Johnny Depp's daughter. And it was bumming me out. I didn't like it. It was taking me away from the movie. I
Right.
was like, why are you shooting this? This is your daughter. Like, tell her to like fucking put some different pants on or something. Like, I don't need to see what she ate for lunch in order to enjoy this movie.
So it is a Nickelodeon movie,
It
basically.
is exactly a Nickelodeon movie.
Do you think that it would have been saved if
No,
Jay and Silent Bob
no.
were outside of the convenience store and instead of the subplot with like Johnny Depp, that would have been the Jay and Silent Bob character? Like they left America just like they did in Dogma.
Yeah.
Okay. And they went to Canada because reasons and they found a a
No.
quick mart, you know,
Yeah.
and they're just outside that place, you know. Yo, fucking hot dogs killing us out here, you know.
No, I don't think anything could have saved this movie.
No, I don't
I,
either.
even with Crazy Enough, I feel like this this shut you up so fast because you were like, there can't be a worse movie than Crazy Enough, and then
Right.
boom, like, oh,
No.
excuse me, I'll shut up. Like,
Yeah. I
because
mean, Crazy Enough
this
is still bad.
right. No, I'm not saying, but next
You're
to
not sucking that dick.
right, but next to this,
Right.
I
Like, and that was another thing. Like, when I was watching this, I really had to tell myself, am I automatically just calling this shit because the previews look like shit? I know it's going to be shit. You know, am I not giving it not a just due, but just kind of like put that aside, just watch the movie, you
That's what
know?
I said. I was like, I'm just gonna not judge this movie because when it came out, there's a reason I haven't seen it. The reviews on it were so fucking terrible, it pushed me away from this movie.
Right.
It's just one of those few times where the like the reviews and the critics, whatever, they were accurate as
Yeah.
shit. Like they were even nicer than they should have been.
Yeah.
So that's why I never saw it, and I don't think that anything could have fixed this movie. I just, I don't know.
No. No, and it just doesn't like okay, this leads into the big discussion of what happened to Kevin Smith being this
Well,
unique director at one point, Clerks, Mallrats, Dogma. I'll put Red State in there, even though that's a little later. You know, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a fun movie. It's not the
Yeah.
best,
No.
but there just seems to be this drop off where we get into Tusk and this and the reboot Jay and Silent
Mhm.
Bob. And then I'm not the biggest fan of like Clerks 2. I understand it and appreciate it, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Right, right.
And now Clerks 3, and they're talking about Mallrats 2.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't have faith or trust that
I've
he's
lost
gonna do good.
I've lost all my faith. All right. You gave a decent introduction. Let's talk about Kevin Smith.
Talk about Kim Smith.
But real quick before I jump into Kevin Smith's ass, um, this is a three. This is like a. Did you read about the True North trilogy? Did you do any research on this movie?
No,
Okay,
no.
so I randomly stumbled across this thing that says that this is just one of three movies in the True North trilogy. The first one was Tusk, and
Okay.
then this one, and then there's one supposedly coming out called Moose Jaw, and it says 2023. I don't know if it's even going to happen. But so this is, I don't even understand why it's called the True North. Maybe because
Canada?
I didn't even know fucking I didn't even know Tusk took place in Canada.
Neither did I.
So none of it makes sense. That's how
I know
not making
walruses
sense
like
this
cold
movie.
water.
True,
And
true. That's
if
fair.
you asked me,
You
uh,
solved it. 5 stars.
yeah, if you were gonna if you pointed a gun at my head and say I'm gonna shoot you if you don't tell me where walruses are on the map, I couldn't fucking tell you other than places that are cold in the water,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
you know. And then you look at me and you go, they're in fucking Australia. And I'm just that's news to me, dude. Fuck, go
Yeah,
ahead, you
yeah.
know.
All right,
Um,
back to Kevin Smith.
yeah. What is
So let's because
what?
I did some things. I did some writing on Kevin Smith
Okay,
because I couldn't write enough about that movie.
yoga
Um,
hosers, eh?
yeah, yeah. So
No, they don't even do it right.
the topics that we need to discuss in dealing with uh Kevin
Kevin Smith,
Smith is what happened,
right,
when did it happen, why did
right.
it happen, and is it reversible?
No,
Okay,
first and foremost, it even with these movies that he's producing now. Okay, and you said you haven't watched Clerks 3.
right.
Um, I know what happens.
Yeah, but
But I have not watched it.
right,
I don't I think it's been such a big gap of Kevin Smith right now of just like kind of putting out like mediocre stuff,
right.
boring, not like just eh.
Yeah.
I don't think either A, like he's in that realm of like Quentin Tarantino. Like you look at Clerks in the 90s,
Yeah.
you know, Linkletter, um, just that 90s new generation of film.
Yeah.
And it's such a good, like contained movie,
Mhm.
and now he's trying to just, I feel, kind of like make these weak sandcastles, you know. It's just like they fall down, they don't
Interesting
make sense.
analogy. What do you mean weak sandcastles?
Weak sandcastles, like compared to like a
Like
regular
if sand
castle.
is too wet and they don't look good
Right.
anymore? Like
Or
they don't
no,
have
they
sharp
just,
edges?
you don't build like a castle just from sand. You need rocks and shit like that. Like a real castle. I'm not talking about
Oh, I
like
thought
going
you
to
were
the
talking about
beach.
sandcastles.
No, not going to the beach
Oh,
and like
okay.
building that sand castle and
Oh,
shit.
okay.
It's only going to last for like 24 hours or until the tide comes in,
Right.
which a lot of his movies do. People get hyped. Oh man, Clerks 2. Oh
Yeah.
man, Mallrats
So
2.
now are you changing the analogy to sandcastles?
No, no, no.
You
Sandcastle
still
will work.
sticking with castle?
Gonna stick with it. Yeah.
Okay. All
That's
right.
my Kevin Smith is a sandcastle.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but
You heard it here, folks.
yeah.
Video waste.
So that that checks me off. What do you think? Do you think he can ever redeem himself and come back to
I
like,
really, I,
wow,
I really think he could
okay,
because,
good,
like, I mean, if you look at his movies, like he started off so strong,
right,
and then Jay and Silent Bob happened, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's a thing. And at the time, I was totally entertained by it. I still watch it. Like it's dumb, but it's entertaining.
right,
It's junk food for my brain, and sometimes that's
mm-hmm,
what I want. So it serves that purpose. Um, the conversations aren't as heady as they are in the other movies, like
mm-hmm,
but I still watch it. And then he puts out dumpy ass this movie in Tusk, and
mm-hmm.
then bang, Red State. And it's like, oh fuck. All right, that's a fucking badass movie.
Yes,
And then he dumps out. See, because I won't hold the reboot or against him because that was just Jason Mewes was about to have a baby and he needed some money.
right,
So Kevin Smith got him paid. I understand that. It's your homeboy. You look out for him. Like I'll forgive that reboot. I'll put that in a special like asterisk.
yeah,
Um, so in reality, I enjoyed Clerks 2 enough along the same lines as Jay and Silent Bob. So
okay,
like he hasn't done a ton terrible except for Yoga Hosers and Tusk. And those are really, really heavy hit and shitty movies. Like the impact of that junk is detrimental to my confidence in him.
okay.
But I still hope that he can pull off another at least one or two good movies.
Who knows?
Sometimes you got to take shitty ass movies to make bomb ass movies.
Right.
I don't know.
Like it just feels like for that to happen, he would have to change like his.
You have to get fat again.
No, he would just have to like, okay, write a script. Don't be Kevin Smith, you know? Just write a script, keep it simple and we'll go from there.
To
That's
be
what
honest,
Clerks is, so
with you, I think that that's what he did with both this Tusk and Yoga Hosers. I think that that was his mindset. He said, "Let me sit down and write something that is not Kevin Smith, that is not, you know."
yeah, I can see that.
And then he dumped these two out. He probably also in that same shit, he probably got Red State out of it too. Like these are the three movies that don't fit with the
Don't
rest of
fit.
his
Yeah.
catalog.
Yoga Hosers kind of feels like in the realm. Like I said, that's why I can see Jay and Silent Bob maybe being
Yeah.
outside of that
Yeah.
convenience store. Um, and they're just a part of it. And I
Yeah.
think that's another thing is that he has created so many of these elements that we expect, Jay and Silent Bob, Star Wars, comic
Right.
books, I mean, fucking, they had that in here, but it just didn't feel like it wasn't, it felt like outside of the story, you know, like Batman and Robin come into the store, okay. Yeah, I get it.
Stan Lee is the on the
911
phone. Yeah.
operator, which I had to look. Does Canada even have 911? Or did they use something else?
I I I think you just die in Canada. I don't think
Nah, man, they got
they
better.
don't have police, right? They
They
don't
kind
they
of got
don't
cops. They got Mounties.
they ride like mooses and the
They got
red
they ride mooses.
the red jacket,
Right.
right?
Right. Yep.
Is that Canada? Am I thinking of the right
Yep.
country?
I think so. Yeah. The maple leaf
Yeah,
letter
yeah, yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone was I was thinking while watching this, like him writing down ideas, because this could have easily taken place in New Jersey and been fine.
Yeah.
He was like, "What's funny?" And someone was like I don't know, Jim Carrey and Michael Myers are funny and they're Canadian. And then he was like, that's it. Canadians are funny. And instead of being like, yeah, there are a lot of Canadian comedies and comedics, he was just like, what's everything funny about Canada?
Yeah,
And it was like the way that, like, you couldn't do this like in Mexico. This would be the most racist movie ever
it's
if this
true.
was done anywhere else other than Canada.
It's true.
Like, horribly.
Yeah.
Like,
Do it
all
in
the,
Jamaica, see how funny it is.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, like freaking Kevin Smith and Johnny Depp's daughter, like, sitting there with horrible Jamaican
Yeah,
accents.
yeah,
No, don't work like that.
yeah.
Canada? Yeah, sure. Well, we can make fun of Canada. Yeah, sure. Fuck it. What are they going to do? Be like, oh, we're sorry that your movie was shitty or something,
We're sorry we made your movie shitty
Oh,
somehow.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, you look at things like Letterkenny.
Yeah,
Okay. I do know what it is. I have not sat down and watched like full on,
yeah, I
like,
know.
but that's funny. Those
Yeah,
guys are funny.
yeah,
Trailer Park Boys, that's some funny stuff.
yeah.
I'm a Kenny versus Spenny fan. That's
True.
Canadian as fuck,
Yeah,
you know. Maddie, uh, Maddie Matheson.
yeah.
Love it. That's Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
Canada. That's
Yeah.
Canada right there.
Yeah. Rick Moranis,
Now you're just saying Tim Hortons. Now we're
Yeah.
just saying Canadian shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's isn't Martin Short from Canada?
Yep. Yep. SCTV. And
Yeah,
that was their version
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
or the Kids
Exactly.
in the Hall.
Yeah,
Like, oh
yeah,
my God, they could have gotten Scott Thompson in this
yeah,
instead of or like most of the kids in the hall and stuff in there.
yeah,
That would have been great,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, they. I mean, that movie was just such a missed opportunity. Like,
Like, bring a bunch of like actual Canadian actors, and okay, if we're gonna make a
or
Canadian
just
movie, let's
better
get Canadian.
American actors to
Right,
play Canadians. Like,
right,
I'll take it. Nobody's gonna be like, "Hey, that person played
right,
a Canadian and he's American." Fuck that.
right, right.
I don't think that's a hill anybody's gonna die on. So
No,
just find better actors. God damn
no.
it! Like your daughters can't act. Just they got
This,
money. Just let them go. Fucking spend your money. Keep them off the goddamn camera.
yeah, like with the premise, this could have been like a Canadian Clerks,
Yeah,
instead of like in Jersey, you know,
yeah.
like, done more than like talking about like, back bacon
It
and,
would have been fucking hilarious if those girls aspired to move to America and they wanted to go to New Jersey.
right,
And the whole entire thing is just like a teenage girl's version of Clerks.
right.
And that was it. Like nothing extra. Like no fucking bratwurst, no fucking murderer. Just
No,
maybe the murderer. It was quick enough. But
yeah,
like, because that could be like the robbery scene from Clerks, basically.
yeah,
But yeah, just do that. It would have been better that way.
yeah.
Like all this extra shit ruined the movie. I would have totally they they could have like brought different characters in, like because you know how they said the eat a bunch of food big things
Mm,
guy, they said like they thought he was a pedo.
yeah.
Like they could have just had conversation about each
Eat bunch of
character's
food,
subject.
fucking epic mealtime guy.
Yeah, yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
Harley, whatever.
right,
But they could have had that, like just a young girl's perspective on each of these different types of characters that walk in there.
right.
I would
I
have
mean,
watched that way more. Even I would have even watched it with them
right.
doing it, as long as like it wasn't this. This
Yeah,
is terrible. This is a
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, they're in Winnipeg, so it's basically like Midwest of Canada. They said,
Geography with Jerry.
yeah, they said they were in Winnipeg. So, um, But yeah, I mean, you
I
could
don't
have
think
done that.
changing locations would have helped this movie. They
You
could
could
have
have
been in
like
Saskatchewan. They could have been in BC.
like
I
the
don't.
guy who was could have been robbing them and stuff, and he's like, empty the cash register. Sorry, I didn't mean to, like, I'm not being
Right.
threatening. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that, but please just empty the cash register and
Yeah.
and a 6 pack of Elsinore,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
or like that. There could have been more
Yeah.
to this, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that
Look at Super Troopers. They go Canadian in the second one,
right,
and they fucking made it work. That shit's hilarious with they're arguing with the Mounties and shit. Like
right,
it's perfect. Like the difference. Well, yeah, those girls weren't American transplants, so some of the stuff went
right,
in play. But
right. I mean, there's just these ideas that really come easy and natural. But this is why I also go back to this was just quickly wrote, quickly directed to make sure that my daughters have, something on IDBM
yeah,
and,
IMDb. Yeah.
IMDb. Yeah, freaking dyslexia me. Um, you know,
You
and
didn't even say me right, Jerry. Your dyslexia is getting out of hand.
yeah,
It's 2 letters and you got them
it's all
backwards.
over the place. I'm like a Kura right here, man. Things are just growing out of me. Um, but yeah, it could have been something
It could have. It
unique
could have.
and a good idea. Instead, it was quickly put together, no love, no passion.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
that's I think that's a great way to sum it up. There wasn't love
Right,
or passion to this movie.
right. And
Uh
Kevin, I hope, Kevin Smith does prove me wrong. I hope you're right, Jacob, that Kevin Smith can make a fucking good movie again.
yeah. I would love to see that.
Right.
Will I? Time will
Probably
tell.
not. So,
Time will
all
tell.
right. Without further ado, because this has gone on for far too long with this stupid
It's a
movie,
kill, it's not a cult. Uh what else is there?
would you go see it in the theater?
Fuck no.
All right.
Fuck no.
Yeah, it's a kill. It is not a cult. And I will not see this in the theater. Jacob, what do you star it?
Dude, 0 stars.
Zero
Negative
stars.
-1 star. I
Yeah.
have to make sure that Crazy Enough is better than this.
Yeah.
And I gave Crazy Enough 0 stars. So
Yeah.
this is negative
I
one
think
star.
this is almost to the point where it's like, what I give this? I give this Yoga Hosers. Like
Yeah.
it's its own dimension.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
I
Like,
think it should become part of the lexicon that we start calling things yoga hosers.
yeah,
Now.
this is a Yoga Hoser.
But not like in the terms that they used it in the movie. Call this the movie yoga hosers.
Yeah.
Like, and you could even go as far as to specify that you're saying the movie yoga hosers, and it would still be better than this fucking movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. So
They yoga hosers this movie to death.
yeah. Like it's just like it almost feels like Yoga Hosers could now replace the R word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Dude,
if you
that's
have
so
to
yoga
like
hosers.
you see this Yoga Hoser behind me, like
Yeah.
that's a little Canadian there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're just Kevin Smith.
And
It's
then
Kevin
if somebody,
Smith. Yeah,
no,
it's Kevin Smith behind me.
no, he's still a good guy. He talks a lot, but he's a good guy.
Mm-mm-mm. No, I am glad this one's on the books.
I'm
I am
not.
picking some
I feel like we wasted an hour of time
no.
and another hour and only 20 minutes for this movie.
Oh yeah, I mean,
This movie is a waste of everything.
hey, this is what you brought to the table.
I brought some better movies than this, though. I brought that William Dafoe movie.
I already saw that.
I know you told me that. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
I brought Kung Fu Ghost to the table. Like I brought some champions, and you picked the worst movie
All right.
in history.
Yeah, trust me, I have